Welcome back, everyone, to the Creators of the Storm, the last game of our round robin. And joining me is a new caster, Britzza from the Geeks of Azeroth. How you doing?
I'm not too bad, thanks. Yourself?
I'm doing amazing. I was talking about this during the break, but I've been doing this for 4 hours now. I feel like I could go for like another 6 or 7 hours. Like, I don't feel tired at all. This has been so much fun.
We'll just speak to Liquid and Daz and say add on a few more round robins. Just keep going all night. I can't be there.
We got to bring in another team of people so we can have like 4 more games, right? So everyone can play against everyone else again.
Yeah, I think we've got enough people in Twitch chat to make a few more teams.
Ooh, unfortunately, this will be our last round robin game, and it's for first seed going into the semifinals and the finals playoff, because 3rd and 4th seed are locked, but Lords of the Hypeforge and Geeks of Gank are both undefeated in the round robin stage. They're both 2-0, so someone's walking away with a loss here, and this is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen, which I think of as a very sustained wave clear oriented map, but the game mode is all assassins.
And it is going to be messy. I looking at some of the previous matches, especially the all warriors, I thought, okay, well, this is going to be slow and methodic, and there's going to be a more cautious approach. But what do you do with all assassins? Like, what is the approach you take?
I mean, you can go for range and just be like, we're going to stand really far back and not die. You can go for all melee hero comps. Melee heroes in general in Heroes of the Storm have like higher base stats. They have more health. They have more auto attack. They have gap closers. And you can just like run at people. And if you succeed, you get kills. If you don't succeed, you lose. They do tend to have a little bit better. They do tend to have a decent wave clear too. Like Mathael has acceptable wave clear. Rag has really good wave clear. And Rag actually gives you a huge defensive advantage. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see Rag prioritized very, very highly here. But it's just a question of, I don't think it's quite rock, paper, scissors, because I think there's some flex depending on what heroes you have. But I do think that certain types of comps are going to beat other types of comps, and you have to and it's going to be obvious early kind of which one you're going for, and it depends on how much thought people have put into it.
Yeah, and it's seeing some of your previous casting for some of the other matches, I'm not sure whether the teams have a plan for what this is, or whether they're just going to rely on we'll make it up as we go along. So, hey, even the previous match, the previous match shows that you can have a comp, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. And all assassins just seems like one of those ones where it's just going to turn into a brawl very quickly.
They could have just medevac to a building and it would have worked fine. They never medevac to a building.
I feel, Ro, if you're watching this now, dude, like we've all done that. Like seriously, we've all done that.
And you're biased because, of course, Tarly and Gary are playing, and they're your co-hosts for Geeks of Azeroth. So, are you rooting for or against them?
Oh,
and bear in mind they may watch the cast later.
Yeah, exactly. For the sake of the podcast, I should say I'm voting for them. I mean, I'm backing Geeks of Gank all the way. But something that stood out is that Tarly in particular, like he's not a heroes gamer. He's never really been a big gamer, but he's completely stood out for me on this one. And kudos to him for absolutely doing some fantastic plays in this tournament so far. So in a sense, I'm backing them because they're just rising above their own expectations, and that's really impressive for me. But hey, like you say, they're both rooting for top seed at the moment, so literally the best team will win one way or another. So I'm looking forward to some interesting plays.
And we are getting notification from production that both teams are ready, so we'll be starting the draft momentarily here. Very exciting for me. Tomb of the Spider Queen is actually one of Infernal Shrines is by far my favorite map, but I have a special place in my heart for wave clear in Heroes of the Storm, and Tomb of the Spider Queen is the only game I've seen in pro play where a team won by just clearing waves and never fighting.
Really?
What was it, Fnatic, I think, picked Zool in HGC, and they literally never fought. They just cleared waves, and they had Johanna Zool. They had so much wave clear, and they just cleared waves and rotated and cleared waves and rotated. And even if the enemy team got a turn in, it didn't matter because they just cleared it. And they never fought, and eventually buildings just fell down. And the fact that you can do that on a map that's so small it touches me at my heart.
How long did that take though? Was that like a 25, 30-minute game?
They ended up with like a 3-level lead, so the game things just fell over. I think they got to level 20, but it was like a 15 or 16-minute game.
Oh, fair enough. Who knows? We might. what are we seeing so far in terms of bans?
Yes, unfortunately, Zool is a specialist, so I'm not going to be seeing any Zool this go around. But there are heroes that have. There are a lot of assassins with substantial amounts of wave clear. We're going to see the Thrall ban. Thrall used to good effect. Thrall's not normally considered a meta hero on Team Spider just because his wave clear is so poor, and the offlane meta has sort of gravitated towards very strong wave clear heroes. That's a Butcher. And
I'm glad there's a Butcher, because I was beginning to wonder whether they were going to choose very squishy ranged assassins based on, like you say, trying to clear waves. But Butcher's made it in, which means...
And you know the brilliance of this is you can't run away from Maiev because of Umbral Bind. Nope. And Butcher is really one-dimensional. His only play is charge at you and hope you don't back up.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't back up from a Maiev.
Nope. And I love as well that Li Ming is now sitting there going, what do I do now? Because there are two heroes there that quite literally you don't want anything to do with. So I think it's going to really get messy with the Li Ming.
I mean, they could like opt to do something really early game focused so the Butcher can't get stacks. Because an unstacked Butcher is not a hero. Like, you have to finish your stacks and then you're like 1.5 heroes. Like, Butcher with stacks is so strong. Malthael, that's going to give them a huge potential for last right stacking value. But like Malthael, Butcher does not win 1v1 versus Malthael. Butcher will just sit on you and kill you unless you can kite him. And you know, Malthael does get a slow at 7, but Butcher's slow is better baseline. Vala picked up. I would not want to play Vala in a no support game.
I mean, like, where do you think they're going with that current three-man setup? Like, what's the tactic behind that?
I mean, maybe they just want to trade. Like, maybe they feel like if we get enough damage, we can burst someone out, and if we have Li Ming, we get resets. They don't, which may work on a more wide open map. But Li Ming on Spider Queen, like, you're always fighting near minion waves unless you're fighting over turn-in specifically. And it's really hard to consistently get full good value Li Ming combos when you're fighting near minion waves all the time. Alarak banned out going... So now they're thinking more like the infinite stacking, which was just kind of the same idea. Like, if you're always getting... If Mathiel's dying, but you're always getting picks with the Li Ming, Alarak sadism continues to stack up really good. But Alarak has no wave clear. I'm really concerned that one team is going to draft like a Jaina or a Kael'thas or something, and then they're going to have wave clear, and the enemy team won't, and it's just they're just going to fall over because they can't manage the waves.
Chromie's gone now, so
Chromie Butcher is actually really good because you charge in, you know that the stun is very telegraphed, so you can cast Chromie's combo and then the stun hits and it's guaranteed to land. Smart
Give
man.
that Butcher a bit more time, yeah. What are we going to see? Gul'dan and Greymane.
Okay. Gul'dan has infinite self-sustain if he has something to drain off of, so that's a good pick. I'm actually, now that I think about it, I'm surprised he wasn't prioritized a little bit more highly just because of that dynamic plus his intense wave clear. I'm curious to see what the last two pickups say. Like, what are they going to pick to complement this Vala? Because I'm not seeing the sense in their first three picks in a real way. Mathiel, even after his nerfs, like, I can understand he's a lot of self healing. But
maybe
the Vala and the
Samurai, maybe, or I can't even tell where this is going. It's not admittedly the pick I'd pick. Who knows? We're going to find out in a moment.
I mean, Rag is still available. I think Rag should have been prioritized much more highly by both teams just because of his defensive aspects and the sheer amount of wave clear he provides. He also has reasonable self-sustain.
Raynor? And Zeratul.
All right. If Butcher gets stacked, there's no way he loses this game. Like, absolutely none. Raynor's interesting. He's a very underrated level 4 talent for people who don't know about it, that every time he gets stunned or rooted, it causes everyone around him to be knocked back. So it's sort of a counter to Butcher. You can't gap close a Raynor with your stun, but you can still gap close everyone else.
See, I was just thinking who the Zeratul was going to go after as well.
Yeah, I don't.
There's no priority, I think, there. Because like you say, the Butcher's going to potentially be the MVP here, but all of those players on the left, like equal opportunity. Lunara, I was hoping to see a Lunara. Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even think about Lunara, but in a supportless game, Lunara wins. Like, she just hands down wins. She's even glowing with that skin. There's just no chance you win against a Christmas tree in a supportless.
A Christmas tree of pain.
They're like, Lunara is considered a counter to certain support. So even if you have healing, like you have an Uther, you're still, and if you pass Lunara, you're still like at a disadvantage. You're just going to lose if fights go on and on and on. So, and as the game scales, Lunara has the best damage scaling for this situation because her trait scales at 5%, and that's where most of her damage comes from. I mean, Raynor will be able to match that a little bit with Seasoned Marksman, and he has the increased range. If he's getting double stacks, because people are clearing for him, and he's like rotating back and forth between lanes, he'll stack that up very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. But then you have Butcher, and if Butcher's stacked, the game ends. Like, you just can't win. I'm really hoping that this game goes to 20, and we get Warden's Cage into a 5-man lamb to the slaughter. That's all I really want from this game at this point, because I feel like this was over in draft. But maybe I'll be surprised.
And I have to feel bad because the draft is going against Geeks of Gank at the moment. But who knows? Who knows? Because we said that about last game. We thought the draft had it in the bag.
They never medevac to a building. That's not fair. If they didn't even medevac near a building, like if they'd even medevac near a building, they could have like accidentally killed it. I think it would have been fine. But we will getting into the game here on the left-hand side of the map. We will have Lords of the High Forge. We'll have TBK Zord on Lunara, Multi-Zord on Gul'dan, DKK Gokuburi on Maev, Gizmo Zord on Greymane, and Diomedes on the Butcher.
And on the right, we have Geeks of Gank with Tali on Valor, Sleepy Gary on Li Ming, Bacon on Malthael, Fringe Average on Raynor, and Scott on Zeratul.
And it looks like both teams are going to play a little bit cautiously. Bear in mind that Scott does have a blink, so he can be a little bit further forward. And he is currently completely invisible because he did hold out for 1.5 seconds in that position. It looks like they're going to off clear with the Gul'dan. And I actually kind of like this. They're having Gul'dan and Greymane soul lane. Greymane going up against the Malthael has that range advantage, and Gul'dan is just off clearing, hoping to deny some soak. Eventually, they're going to need to make sure that the Gul'dan is rotating with the Butcher, so the Butcher gets stacked up as quickly as possible. And this is, we didn't talk about this in the draft, but Butcher has to step up to get its stacks, but everyone has to step up to get gems. So if you're not stepping up to get the gems, you like can't do it for whatever reason. You feel like you're zoned or you're going to take too much damage. And you can't, poke damage is permanent for most of these heroes. It's never going to go away. As I say that, the pick on the Gul'dan there.
Yeah, I was going to say Scott getting out there quick. And Tully, I think Tully's gone, I think.
Yeah, that's a Vala.
Oh.
Vala was not the pick. But if you can't step up and get the gems, you're never going to get a turn in. And that's going to be a significant disadvantage to whichever team has less poke sustain. And in the 4-man with Malthael bottom, there's no sustain here for Geeks of Gank. They just don't have any self-healing at this point in the game.
And yeah, Goki, is sitting there quite comfortably. I see even Bacon's playing a bit cautious, and that throws me off a little bit.
Yeah, he just went in though. That is going to be an easy kill for Maev and Greymane. Bacon may actually be able to get one.
Maybe.
60 health.
Just about.
Gets the Q off, goes back up to 100. Does have to burn his tap, however. I think if they'd executed that better, that would have resulted in a kill, but Bacon with a nice juke, even though he did go very, very deep at the beginning. Moving back to the mid lane, we are seeing a wave clear advantage right now. And this, like the Gul'dan pressure is being a real thing, and Butcher, they're not rotating together as a team for Lords of the High Forge, and that's putting them in a little bit of an awkward position, whereas Geeks of Gank is trying to rotate together. That's keeping them a little bit safer, and they're actually they can step up and pick up the gems. So
I was going to say, they're looking quite equal at the moment in terms of gem count, so not a massive disadvantage even despite those couple of kills.
And again, it's worth noting that every time someone dies, they do drop their gems, but they also drop 3 additional gems for the enemy to pick up. So it's really, Lords of the High Forge are really invested in looking for kills here because they get so much out of it in terms of Butcher stacks. Butcher at 24 out of 200, not a bad start really. And he is going to be able to have tap available here momentarily. There it is. Greymane can also start doing camps. We haven't talked about that, but the Siege Giants and the Knights are both very oppressive to deal with. on this map, especially in the situation where there's no sustain. The camp can push in and get a lot of value with that new spell armor. So if Greymane gets relieved bottom here, he can go do that night camp and put a lot of early game pressure here on the mid wall.
We've still got a little group of Sleepy Gary, Fringe Average, and Tali just hanging around the top at the moment, and I think they're just trying to get those turn-ins going, really, but it looks like they're going to get spotted any second now. Yep.
Oh, nice orb on the Multisword. Significant chunk to him. And again, he can heal himself up, but again, anytime you chunk someone in this scenario with no support, that damage sticks. It's hugely significant. Butcher's stacking up very slowly, by the way. He's not feeling confident that he can go in, and look at the gem situation. It's starting to develop, pretty much developed. 39 with 11 turned in versus 34 with 22 turned in, or 34 turned in with 22 available. That's a huge gem difference.
And I think the Geeks Gank might be getting a little bit greedy for the turn in. So whether they're going to try and push that, no, looks like they're going to fall off.
And Mathael sneaking in his 8 bottoms. That's 42. Now it's going to be much easier. Anyone with 8 gems can now solo turn in. So they should start spreading out the gems a little bit if they can onto multiple heroes. If every hero had 8 gems, and Zeratul actually has 16, so he can get the solo turn in whenever he disappears from the map. They have to be really constantly watching turn-ins. Lunara is the only vision tool. Wisp is the only real vision tool available to either team. Not a lot of assassins have vision tools, so they have a slight advantage in terms of watching turn-ins, but they themselves are really suffering in the wave clear because of the way they're not rotating the Gul'dan around.
And we've got the turn in from Greymane, so as you guys can see, you know, Gem's still looking pretty equal at the moment. It's really everyone's game at the moment.
And there is Scott.
Maybe not.
And here's the problem. With Maev, Butcher, and even Greymane, who's sort of a half melee hero, it's very difficult to defend against these web weavers without lots of ranged wave clear. Because the poke factor comes in. You can get poked down very, very easily, and then you have to back up. You have to go all the way back to base. Like, you can't heal unless you have tap available, which people have been burning their taps very aggressively for good reason. Bottom's going to spawn basically on top of the buildings. Mid's going to spawn on top of the buildings. Top's going to spawn on top of the buildings. This is going to be a massive amount of damage from the first web wave returning.
Tali's coming up top, so it looks like they're just going to try and push as much damage on top while Mathael just does his thing, I guess. They can just, I guess, trying to lure a couple of them into the range of the towers, but I'm not entirely sure.
Bottom is cleared for free. Mid wall is completely gone. Top wall is completely gone. Getting the outer wells is actually significant as well, and they just back off. They're, oh wow, so patient, so passive. They're like, we don't want to be this far on your side of the map. You can charge into us. We're comfortable controlling just the turn-ins because we're doing a really good job of that. And even though it's only a half level lead for them, oh wow!
Oh, okay. Sleepy Gary going. No, just maybe no. Okay, just about made that out. I think that's probably a half.
A 3-man umbral bind and a double Q reset results in no kills. If anyone else, even a single auto attack would have resulted in another kill there. That would have been so good. Beautiful play, but just not enough. And Zeratul goes down trying to get the kill on TBK Zord, loses all of his gems. He actually has a significant portion of his team's gems.
Definitely a huge stack there. Bacon's got 18 on him at the moment, looking for an opportunity to turn in any second now. I think he's going to take that. Oh no.
81 meat stacks on Butcher, not quite to the halfway mark. That is something we need to be really paying attention to, because as soon as he's finished, this game could look very different, especially at 10 against Land of the Slaughter. Speaking of 10, picked up first for the challengers, I should say, because TBK. Oh, that's another beautiful Umbral Bind. They're actually forcing a fight pretty hard here. Pre-10, which is normally something you want to do, but Mathael goes down, Raynor goes down. They do get the counter kill onto the Gul'dan, but considering they just turned in, that's fine.
Sleepy Gary, although he's playing a pretty good Li Ming in this tournament, I don't think he's that good to take on 4 members of the team. So he's getting back out pretty quickly.
Yeah, 1v4ing is hard, as it turns out. We do see the Warden Cage, Lamb to the Slaughter. Leaping Strike, so giving Lunara some mobility instead of additional poke. Horrify, it's going to give him a lot of heal. Pretty standard heroics across the board. I'm a little surprised we didn't see Mathael snap his first last rights out during that fight. He would have gotten the stack. I think it's important that he gets those stacks going as soon as possible. So he has
he looks like he's going after TPK Zord pretty aggressively, yeah, and that will do it. So
Sleepy Gary barely got away from Maev down there.
I know. That's
it. That was very close.
Very lucky retreat there.
And after that fight, Butcher's at 148 stacks. So
the countdown is going.
That's the fastest. Oh, Maev overextends looking for the kill, tries to get some people in the Warden's cage, and they just leave. They're just like waiting for it to wear off. And she ends up going down. That was not what they wanted to have happen. Very scary to be split in this situation.
And obviously bottom lane's pushing a little bit more aggressively here. Zeratul clearing up some of the wave there, and then it looks like they're going to get that Bruiser camp just to take a little bit more pressure off.
Will help a little bit. We're seeing Vala go for Q builds, so she's going for that self-healing. Only 2 stacks on her level 4 quest. We're seeing Raynor go for a full Q build as well. So he's going Season Marksman 1, and then Confident Aim, and a lot of people might not know what this talent does. It lowers the cooldown of penetrating round by 4 seconds per hero hit. And I imagine we're going to see the double shot at 13 and then bullseye at 16. So Raynor's going to be a stun machine. He's just going to try to keep knocking these aggressive melee heroes away. That seems to be their game plan. Just knock them away and win the poke war, win the attrition war. I don't know if that can work against Lamb to the Slaughter, Warden's Cage, Horrify, but we'll see if it ends up working out for them. They need to get the 16 for that spike to really matter, though.
I mean, where do you think the mindset is sitting for the Geeks of Gank right now? Because, like, where do they play an advantage other than that Raynor play? Like, where do you see them perhaps seizing the high ground on this one?
I don't.
It's a matter of time.
If they get to level 20 and they can get like multiple last rights kills in a single fight, which is possible. Mathael can get a significant amount of last rights kills because the healing in the level 20 upgrade is so substantial if it's getting kills. But again, the Butcher is going to continue to scale. The Greymane with the level 7 could potentially continue to scale, and we're going to see the charge in, and that's actually Horrify whiffed as well. Multisword is in a lot of trouble here, but he's going to
back it out quick, not quite quick enough.
It's 2 stacks on last rights. Does get a kill. Scott going to take a lot of damage, but the Brainer, Hyperion Wolf Zone, and TBK Zord is deep with his Leaping Strike. I believe that's all his Leaping Strike cooldowns. Q misses onto Vala, and TBK Zord is just going to literally walk away because movement speed is fair and balanced when you have no slows or movement speed enhancers of your own.
So the Web Weavers are, well, top and bottom. They're quite far back, I guess, compared to where they were last time. It's just a matter of where they're going to push it. Are they going to be able to? I think this keeps pretty much gone.
Yeah, I think prioritizing top 4 here is the correct decision. And, Greymane ends up going down.
Maev's going down. Yep.
Yeah, they've never been able to proactively use the Warden's Cage to actually secure some sort of combo, which I think what they're looking for. It's always, I'm about to die, I'm going to throw a Warden's Cage down and try and get away, and it just never quite works out. But Butcher, playing very carefully, very cautiously, 183 on his stacks. Only 17 to go. He's 2 minion waves away. 2 minion waves away from Butcher being fully stacked.
I feel like we need a big countdown in the top left corner.
I don't know. I Butcher charges in when he's fully stacked and is just able to land the Slaughter target and stay on them, and then they get Warden's Caged. I don't see how they lose that fight. Butcher really does so much damage. The counterplay, it sounds so silly. It's like you literally just want to run away from him. Just kite him. Just don't let him auto attack you and heal for free for infinite value. But if you cannot run away, then his one-dimensional strategy becomes so strong.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like they were trying to push an opportunity to get the Butcher down, but weren't quite confident enough to take that fight. So I don't know how many opportunities they're going to get rid of that Butcher.
Brief advantage here. They're gonna. We do see that they're gonna hit 16 first. So Gank Bush Squad, if they get a lot of value here out of their 16 turn in, and like get all 3 forts off this turn in maybe even, and snowball to 20, then they can force a second fight over boss and maybe use boss to end. That will put them in a really good position. But the camp is going to get so much value here. It'll basically negate the mid spot Web Weaver, because Web Weavers do take damage over time as they spawn. So by the time it gets to the mid fort, it's going to be very low in health already. Mid is going to get cleared for free because of that night camp, and then top is the only one where they can really get value at this point.
They need to secure something at this stage because, like you say, whilst they have 16, Lords of the Hive aren't that far behind. So it's just a question of how much can they push that advantage now. And I don't know about you, but I feel like they should just take a little bit of a team fight now just to see.
They should fight. They should absolutely fight. They have a brief window where they have talent advantage. They have a lot of value in the top. They're actually warding the rotation here, so if someone makes a mistake of rotating through there, they're going to get the gank. And they have I think they have their power spike, right? Because Raynor, the 16 stun, the whole build here is stun a lot of people with Raynor. That's the whole idea. And now they have the stun, they have the cooldown reduction, they have the double charge. But they're just playing so passively instead of doing that. They do have the turn in again, so maybe they were concerned about losing their gems. They can get bottom siege and then get double turn in, and maybe they want to use that to snowball the game more, even though they did have a brief talent advantage.
And the gems, thankfully, are a little bit more sparsed out. Normally, Bacon was picking up quite a lot of them, but we're sitting at 10 on Scott, 12 on Fringe Average, 6 on Tali, 10 on Sleepy Gary. So hopefully, even if one of them gets picked off, it's not an absolute end to the turn-in. But naturally, they've been picked out and the Butcher's going in. I think this is it.
And that's the Horrify. Instant kill on the Vala, instant kill on the Mathael. And again, if this combo gets executed, I actually don't think there's anything they can do. Butcher may die just to the Hyperion. He does. Hyperion does so much damage. TBK Zord will go down. That ends up being a 3 for 2 in the favor of the Butcher team. But Sleepy Gary picks up all those gems, and they lose no gems. All of them actually get picked up. Very good, clean play by the Geeks of Gank here.
And I think Fringe is now just going to take the opportunity to get the top egg there, and that's going to be a turn-in. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Can't do my math.
4 gems to go.
Come on, guys. There's got to be some minions sitting around somewhere.
That's slightly more. They picked up 4 gems.
Yeah, Sleepy Gary can just tidy this one up, but admittedly, with those guys sitting in the middle.
That is half of their XP lead gone, though, and Butcher's now fully stacked, and in fact is overstacked at 210 stacks, and they're clumping pretty badly, Geeks of Gank. If this gets to level 20 and Butcher does that same thing, but he has level 20 Lamb, where everyone gets silenced, they're not getting away.
Do you think Lords should just push it now? Should they just charge in, try and end it now? Because they've got, 22 gems, so they can't complete the turn-in.
I think they can. Oh, but boss is being done. They didn't think to keep an eye on boss, and top.
I think they figured it out.
The stun. Raynor gets hit by the boss stun. That significantly increases his damage on the boss and gives him so much damage. It triggers his passive as well. He won't have it available for the fight, but that's boss. They are so afraid of not being together as 5. They didn't even have Wisp on boss. They could have Wisped the boss and just left it there, but that's gonna be turn-in and boss now at this point.
And I love what Scott did there because, he knew that they probably were going to pick up that boss was there, but he was quite happy just to throw himself in the way of it, even to probably take the kill, just to buy them a little bit more time. So, and clearly didn't even need it either.
And Scott's been baiting these Butcher charges all game. Sometimes he dies for it, but a lot of time it's been like, oh, you're charging me, I'm going to blink away. And then Butcher has to cancel his charge. He doesn't get the cooldown reduction from his level 4 talent, which is so important for the style of Butcher play. And are we going to see the Warden? That's a beautiful 3-man Warden's Cage.
And Scott is going to get picked off, I think, pretty quickly. Yep.
That's the combo that I want to see. I want to see a level 20 version of that combo, but I don't see the counterplay of that. I literally, if that combo gets executed, and it's up to them. Either they execute it or they don't. There's really nothing the Geeks of Gank can do to prevent it except stay spread out, so only one person dies instead of 3. That's it. They have to stay spread out. That's their counterplay, but they're still guaranteed to lose someone if that gets executed.
So we've got about 30 seconds on most of the respawns. What do you think they should be doing now? in this next 20 seconds.
They need to clear the Web Weaver no matter what. If they can get the kill onto Li Ming here and stagger these Death Timers, that's huge for them, and that's a dead Li Ming. She is, in fact, going to go down. Li Ming not going for Diamond Skin at 16, not going for that self-sustain, I find a little bit surprising. I would have expected to see that safe healing. She goes for the Orb Talon instead, the plan being to stand really far back, but that doesn't work when you're caught out 5v1 like that. And at this point, they can get free turn-in and double camp, which is the most aggressive play that they can make. They need to get a keep down to do lane pressure, and the easiest keep to get down is actually bottom keep at this point for them. I'm kind of hoping we see bottom keep go down and have that heavily prioritized. It looks like that's what they're doing. They're heading towards that bottom lane.
See, I wonder if Geeks could possibly try and do a bit of a switch here, because if the Lords do go for bottom, what stops Geeks from just going around top and trying to nuke the core?
They could kill keep. And, Raynor is the best hero in the game at core race because of when Hyperion's up, at least. So if they could get the backdoor, that actually might be their best chance to win. I think
that's what I would be
not a bad call. If they can sneak through an alley, they won't have the minion wave and they don't have any sustain, so they're going to be tanking the core is the only thing. They have no sustain, although we do have Mending Strikes on Zeratul, so he has some little bit of self-healing. Hyperion being used means that there's no way they can do that until Hyperion's back up, so they have 90 seconds to think about it. Are they going to go for the back door? And mid will be, again, the blink out of the Land of the Slaughter over the wall, though, does get the Raynor and the Mathael. They both end up going down. Mathael takes the return talent. He's back in the fight. So it's only Raynor that's dead, and he's already contributed most of his most important thing to this defense, which was the heroic. And mid keep wall is gone. Looks like they're going to back up. They don't want to continue to push without the minion wave. Bottom will clear itself out, so they really just need... This is why I think that bottom would have been a safer push to make. I think they could have gotten bottom keep.
But all in all, it looks like we're just kind of very much back to where we started. Like you said, the wall's down, which does give a lot more maneuverability if they want to push mid or certainly now bottom again. But yeah, again, I think we're kind of back to where we started, and with not enough gems to really get any more web weavers into play. So
yeah, Butcher's continuing to scale. 270 stacks of meat now. Oh, his auto attacks are hitting for 600 or 700 per hit at this point.
Jeez, yeah. I know that wasn't Butcher, but still.
Oof, Maiev goes ham and actually D's the tower shot, but because she moved backwards, actually get hits by it, ends up going down. That's a 1-for-1 trade. But the camp is going to go over to the Lords of Hypeforge. There we go. Lords of the Hypeforge. And with that camp, they can actually probably secure a middle keep here if they're careful about how they do it. Scott on the flank, the Zeratul, and the Hyperion again coming out for the defense. This is back up.
There's only so much time it can buy them, though, and obviously multi-sword gives Zord. Butcher's going in, so Hyperion's kind of out the way now.
That keep is so low, but they aren't going to quite manage to actually get it out, unfortunately.
And I'm so impressed by Sleepy Gary's all play. Like, not just this match, I think, especially in some of the earlier matches, it just really is helping a lot.
Look at this boss rotation. They're like, oh, you got boss once. That's a good idea. Thanks for that inspiration.
Is anyone going to spot it, though?
The question is, are they and they can do boss significantly faster. Greymane and Stack Butcher have some of the fastest boss race in the entire game, and this is both of them.
Yeah, and
Golden and
spot it.
Lunara not slouches either. And I don't think they're going to get here in time. I think this boss is dead. And that's one of the situations
that's good orb. Oh, Scott's going down though. Oh, but maybe there's enough there. No. Okay, I think maybe that just kind of backfired a little bit.
That's game. They can't defend at this point. The ball is going to go down as well. Greymane just YOLOs her. Killing Greymane is actually very important because it does reduce some of the potential core threat. But I don't think it's going to matter unless last race is going to be back in 30 seconds. If he can get another kill and then another kill, there's a small chance that Mathael can defend this.
I'm not entirely convinced. I'm hopeful, but there we go.
He has return again. He has return again. So he dies once. He has 15 seconds left on last rites. He needs to be DPSing the boss. He can't get stunned though. Getting stunned is probably a death sentence, and he does in fact go down. And that will be game. Going over. Yeah. Maev is pretty broken, and Butcher Maev is stupid. That combo had not occurred to me until I saw this game. But like literally the counterplay to Butcher is you just walk away, guys. Just Butcher's there and he's trying to heal off of you. You just like walk away. But you can't walk away from mine.
Yeah, and it played out exactly what you said. Like you said, it was gonna play out. But I mean, looking at some of the hero damage there, it's not even significantly unbalanced either way. It's just unfortunately just getting forced into tight spaces.
There is a significantly unbalanced number though, and it's the kills. 23 to 11. Even though the average hero damage from both teams is pretty similar, 23 to 11 is a substantial difference. And that is the end of our round robin. So that means that Lords of the Hypeforge have gotten the #1 seed. Geeks of Gank are the #2 seed, moving on into the semifinals and the finals. If experience today is any indication, they will meet again in the finals. But maybe there will be an upset. We never know. This will be a best of 3, so it's going to be a substantially different environment. Not these one-ups, where anyone can pull off one cheese and win, or not pull it off, as the case may be. Cursed Hollow, not medevac into a building ever. But we do have both captain. I'm never going to let that go, by the way.
No.
It's just never going to happen. We do have TVK Zord and Bacon here, the captains of Lords of Hypeforge and Geeks of Gank. So, my question, I gotta ask first question to Bacon. When they drafted Butcher, were you like, oh, we lost?
That's why the Rainer went the build that he did, the Q spam build, try to get him out. But even if there was a Butcher, there was a Maev too with that follow up. So that was good drafting.
That was really clever. And TPK, was that draft planned? Where you're like, oh, if they give us Maev Butcher, we're just gonna win. We're just gonna take that and do the combo.
Oh yeah, there's definitely discussion about that. And it honestly it worked into the Gul'dan too, because you get a Warden's Cage down, or you get a Lamb to the Slaughter down first. You can Warden's Cage around it or Horrify, and I like to call it pinball. So you get a bunch of people in the Warden's Cage, and you throw a Horrify down in the Warden's Cage, and it's just like ding 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 as they're running around. It's fun.
Wow, I had never thought of that combo, and that's I want to go try that now. Like I want to get some friends together and be like, guys, I have this great idea.
And we thought we were going to create some new meta in this tournament. So
yeah,
there you go, Butcher Maev.
And my other question is for Bacon is why Vala Li Ming? Like you prioritized the Li Ming first pick. Were you just hoping that there would be resets, and then why the Vala?
Some of our players have a limited hero pool. That's more or less the issue. Tarly, the Vala player, he's a great support player, but he doesn't play too many assassins. More or less it.
That's unfortunate for in tournaments like this. You're I think flex players are kings, because if you can play everything, then you don't matter what rule set you get stuck with, and that's just sort of the way it is, unfortunately. And Britzza, do you have any questions for our intrepid teams? You do both lock down first and second seed respectively, so you're not like at the bottom of the pile or anything. But that game looked very disheartening to watch. So
my first question, I've only got two. I'll make it relatively quick. Bacon, what was the strategy? Because me and Cav were talking. It was very clear perhaps how the Butcher Maev combo was going to play out. But what was your strategy to winning? What did you think you had to pull off?
We were kind of choked out into for that Maev, like Butcher really threw us off. We were trying to go for the Thrall ban also really threw us off too. We were trying to go for Thrall. The Ragnaros, we were trying to go for Thrall Ragnaros. That's the plan. Earthquake, Lava Wave into play a bit more defensive, using the trait of Ragnaros, and control team fights that way. but we weren't able to get all the picks that we wanted.
Fair
That actually
enough.
seems like a very reasonable plan.
Yeah,
All plans don't come together, I guess.
exactly. Sometimes the draft doesn't go the way you want it to, and they threw us off. We try to adapt with the Rainer Q build and other things like that, poking them out with laming and whatnot. But sometimes.
I'm a little surprised if you had the idea for the rag,
Yes.
you didn't just take it anyway despite the thrall ban. Like go Mathael rag.
Yeah, the Zeratul player, he said he was more confident on the Zeratul instead of Ragnaros, and that's why the decision was made there. Yeah.
That makes sense. That's it for me for questions. That was a fun game to watch, but I feel like it was pretty straightforward.
I guess to throw one last one out from me, to both of you, this is, which match or even which game are you most looking forward to? We're obviously bringing in some new types of game in the coming matches, including like Alliance versus Horde and that. Like, what are you hoping for, or which one are you most looking forward to, I should say?
I'm looking forward to the all supports. There was the Stim Bloodlust Archon meta that developed last year,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it'll be interesting to see how people draft around that now, knowing that everyone knows that's a thing.
I think it's going to be very different from last year, though, because supports don't have wave clear anymore. So it's going to be a very weird,
it's true.
awful game.
You thought ARAM was long. Where did you see that?
It's on Sky Temple, though, right? So as long as you're taking over temples, the buildings will eventually die to the objectives.
That's
like,
that's probably the best map to do it on in the way supports are in this meta. You've got to have a map objective that can guarantee you some push because otherwise
you can't go past 30 minutes on Sky Temple. Even if you both teams trade altars evenly the whole game, at 30 minutes everything dead but core and one temple will guarantee end the game. So good call whoever made that decision.
What about you, TBK? What are you most looking forward to?
I've always been kind of partial to reverse draft because not only do you get to see a lot of heroes that you don't normally get to see, we're kind of in a state, and this is to Blizzard's credit, but there's not a whole lot of really bad heroes. And so it's sometimes really hard just like, let's give them this. No, that's too good. Let's give them this. Oh, maybe not. I think... and then just playing a hero that you're not used to probably is going to be interesting because you have to dole those heroes out at the end of the draft too. It's just like crap. Who wants the Chen?
I think there's going to be some smart scouting involved there too, because as we pointed out, we picked Vala in that game because we had a player who was only comfortable on Vala and wasn't really comfortable on any other assassin. Well, what if you just picked heroes that no one on the enemy team is comfortable on? What if you found 5 heroes, even if they were good heroes, that no one on the enemy team has even played before, and they're like, this is their first game on that hero no matter what?
I could totally sympathize with that because I don't play much assassin myself. I'm mostly support because I find myself in that role forced to or otherwise. So I've got good at that. And yeah, I don't think anything outside of my comfort zone would really end well. So I can sympathize with that.
That is it for the interview phase. Bacon, do you have any shout outs? I know you were just on here, but you thought of any new ones?
Hi, Mom, I guess.
Finally, someone gives credit to the person who gave birth to them so they could be in this world where Heroes of the Storm is and play it. TBK Sword, shout outs for
Well,
thank you for saving
too.
me from that. Yeah.
My
What a
mom's
pro.
pretty cool. Go check out Lords of the Storm. Go check out Heroes Forge. Go check out all the Heroes Hype awesome events they put on, the Open Division, and Goki's stream. He does a lot of streaming, so go check him out too.
And that'll be it for us and the round robin phase. Again, there is a skin giveaway going on in chat right now. Mecha Rhaegar and Mechaterial skin giveaways. The code is #ForgingGeeks, which I definitely think if everybody here is watching this, you are being forged into a geek, whether you like it or not. This is just sort of the nature of watching people who make content for a video game. They're trying to make you more like them. Thank you.
You will be one of us.
Yes. Thank you for the co-cats. Britzza, you have any shout outs before we call it a day?
Definitely. Firstly, thank you to you guys at UCAV and Liquid and Daz for putting this on. I know how intricate this whole project is, and I'm absolutely astounded that it's coming together so well. Not astounded that it's coming together so well, but astounded that a project like this is being done. It's absolutely fantastic. And I guess a quick shout out to Geeks of Azeroth. Woohoo! We're not at the bottom, which is definitely exceeding expectations.
Well, not last place. Not
Exactly.
last place is something you can always take home to mom.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back with some closing things before we transition over into the semifinals. We're going to do a round robin wrap up, go over the experience, go over some of the matchups, and set you guys up for the storylines to come with the semifinals and the finals. We'll be right back.